here. Grab this one. What's up, everybody who's joining? Starting a little early tonight. It won't be on for too long, maybe an hour. Maybe an hour. We'll see how long we do, how long we go. Get my boppers right. This one. Got a few down here hanging around. All right, I think we can get started now. So this is some more Fort Payne from one of the last boxes I got, probably like a year ago. And from time to time, I'll draw into the box and, oh no, there goes that abrader. Every time I get started, it happens. All right, I gotta go get me another abrader. Hold on, I know there's one right here, bear with me here. Marshall, you just stay there, buddy. Hold on. I have another one. I think. Hopefully I haven't run through them all. I might have though. Hold up. Hold the phone. Don't tell me I have. Oh, crud. No, surely they're here somewhere. But I think, for the sake of our video today, we're gonna have to go without a good abrader. That really stinks. Yeah, I bet you they're here somewhere. I bet you I'm just overlooking it somewhere. But you know what? It is what it is. We just have to use what we got here. What's up, everybody? So I have a medium grit abrader we can use, but it won't be the same as our coarse one. What's up, y'all? Let's see, Alan, what in the... There he is, there he is. Yeah, this medium one's not gonna cut it. I'll just have to suffer with this one for now. All right, grab my bopper back and we'll get going. What's up, everybody? App Store link it out, cancel. Oh, no problem. Sweet, I'll have to check that out, Alan. Thanks. Let's go here. It's a good little flake. Good little flake. Oh yeah, I forgot. Forgot my abrader's not what it used to be. Go. What's up, y'all? What's up, everybody joining? My big abrader broke, so I got to work with this small one. Not really ideal, if you ask me, but it'll be what it'll be. We'll work it out. This is a piece of Fort Payne chert. But it says, hello, didn't you make a knife out of obsidian for your friend? I might have. It would have been a while ago, though. I don't typically work obsidian. It's not my favorite stuff to work, personally. It naps well, though. It does nap quite well. So it cannot knock it too hard. It's a good flake. A very long time ago? Yeah, I was thinking, I think it might have been quite a while ago. Maybe in an old video or something. Can't remember. But today we got some Fort Payne chert. And we're just striking off flakes. That can be used likely by other people as I put them in a little box to ship out. But we're gonna try to make something from this big piece here. Well, bigger. It's not quite, you know, the large piece we could be working, but it's something, right? It's something. and it works really nicely. What's up, everybody? Greetings from, I'm not sure what that flag is. Is that France? Paris. Try to bevel that so we can have a good platform to run. Right there. I hate not having my other big braiders to use, but we'll just go with this. It'll be fine. I need to stock up on them. Oh yeah, there's a good flake. That one we can put to the side. Use for later. Oh, there we go. This one should do well. I'm just gonna hold this in my hand, not use the pad here. Get a little flake off. I don't know, at a certain stage, I kind of feel like, well, I could probably just do this in my hand and I don't really need to send a long flake. Just kind of something to shoot across. That one didn't quite work. That was better. That was better. Let's see. Marshall's cracking into something out there. I'm not sure what it is. That's pretty good. That cleared it off. Cleared it off up to there. Maybe we'll shoot here as well. See if that won't work out. Is shale generally is not gonna cut it. I mean, I'm not sure if brittle is the term. It kind of depends on where the shale is from as well. It's not very, if I'm understanding what correct shale you're talking about, it's not very predictable in regards to refining into an arrowhead. It is semi-predictable, but I think it also varies from piece to piece and location to location. There may be some that I'm not aware of that are better than others, but I also know there's some that's just not knappable really at all. So I have not worked any personally. I don't think it's kind of a go-to material for folks. But I would not be a spokesman for that. But nonetheless, this is coming down good. Great stuff. Thank you. Lloyd says hello. Alan says fatals. Sending Jake some obsidian. That's right. That's right. I don't know how much shipping would cost. Alan's got to tell me. Let's see. By the way, for those of you who've been watching me a while, I very rarely wear 2 gloves. But yesterday, I was cooking for a church youth event that we had, and I was kind of the dominant cooker because I had this recipe that I really wanted to try out. And so, long story short, I burned myself. I burned like my finger, and it's not like, I mean, I don't have to wear a glove, but for my own sake, you know, try not to rub against it or hit it. And also for like those who are just coming into the stream, it's like, nah, I'll put the glove on. It's not that bad. But didn't even recognize that it was a burn really until later. Bryce says hello. Low safety gloves, absolutely. Oh yeah. How do you do that? Well, practice. Practice, practice, practice. And a lot of patience, apparently, because that flake did not want to come off. Practice, practice, practice. You gotta have 2 stones for at least one that will break, and another that is denser that can draw a flake off. And that's kind of the essential parts of Flintknapping. You know, the two rocks. You don't really have to have this rectangular stone here, but it does help. Helps tremendously, time-wise. And then you just flake into the point. Pretty simple. Now, where to flake and how to set up the flakes, that can be a little more difficult. And that takes time. Just a little time to figure it out. Same thing with me learning Danish daggers. I can know exactly how to do it, but doing it myself is a whole nother ballgame. But I have been trying to do pretty good on them lately, so that'd be good to start back up again. I've kind of put that project to the side for a while. That would be kind of fun. I think people would enjoy seeing that. A Danish dagger. I made a couple. I did okay. Rock and stone, yes sir. Found material in Vancouver Island. Where's Vancouver Island? Is that up in Canada? I really don't know. I'm genuinely asking. And mostly I'm familiar with the Deep South area in the US, but in a lot of other locations I'm not super familiar. I've been overseas to a few different places, so I could kind of help you out. A little bit in England and even in Israel. But unfortunately, the rock that I collected in Israel was confiscated because I put it in my carry-on. I'm such a dummy. Such a dummy. That would have been an insane rock to Flintknap. From the Sea of Galilee, I found some chert along the side. It was lower grade, but like chert from the Sea of Galilee, making an arrowhead out of that, that'd be incredible. Incredible. And really, it was just riprap more than anything. Paper beats rock. Deadgummit, I don't have... Where are my scissors at? Hey, hold up now. I got you beat. Because scissors beats paper. I'm loaded. I got everything I need. And I technically have paper, so I can beat you in every last... in all three categories. You thought I would come unprepared, huh? You work. Oh, thank you. Well, you had the courage to type that, so I think you have the courage to try if you're willing. And really, it's fun. It's not something like, I gotta do it, or I guess I'll do it. But honestly, it's really fun. I enjoy it. Gives me something to do. Gives me people to talk to throughout the day. On YouTube, at least. And who knows, you might find some people who do it that are close to you that you can get up with, learn from, be buddies with. It's just a neat little hobby. Neat little hobby. What's up, Eric? The salt is found in Vancouver. Ah, okay. In sandals. Yeah, of course, Johnny. What do you mean? Of course. There's no other way to do it, man. No other way to do it. Don't get on my case. I like my sandals. I need to try to preserve this little platform here. This may not work. Or it might work to perfection. That did great. That did really good. Cruise our way down to the next big platform. Dull that edge there. And then try to shoot a little flake off. Don't really have a good platform through here, so just trying my best. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? There we are. And just like that, we got a good biface. I'm actually thinking of switching over to this piece of Georgetown. So I very rarely work Georgetown, but by the way, I tried slim chickens today. It's pretty good. Nothing crazy, but I mean it's pretty good. But everybody's talking about, you know, how thin you can get it, and so I wanna see what I can do with some Georgetown. This isn't a huge piece. If anybody has a huge piece, I might be willing to buy it off of you because I'm looking for a big one. What's up? What's up? Already at 100 likes. That's crazy. We just started. I'm gonna take my time with this, just because I can. Go around the edges. In fact, I'll try to help everybody else out. If you have a spall like this, at the bulbar percussion back through here, cortex on this side, the first thing to notice is our center line is kind of above that edge there, so we're gonna have to get rid of that anyways. And one of the tips I'd share with newer nappers is don't just go beating in the stone. Try to chip on the edge, at least initially. Then you can flip it over. If you're not beating on as much cortex anymore, then you can flip it over. And of course, I might do it a little differently personally, but that's a good way to start. Something like that. Now, on a bulbar percussion, generally you're thinking, well, which face are we going to keep? And there's a big ridge here that, you know, we don't want a ridge in the middle of our point, so we want to go ahead and flake that. So we got to set up a good platform. And a good platform is generally slightly lower than the ridge that it's running. And I'm gonna get a little bit bigger bopper, if I can find one. Not like crazy. And then that ridge, we're able to just kind of run. And now we can go back to our other bopper and see, okay, as we're thinning this out, now we got this big ridge here. It's kind of hefty on this side, so maybe we'll braid up to it. And by the way, by striking along here, we raise this direction and lower that direction. And then you can take any bopper and just shoot that off. All right. Now eventually you got to turn the corner, because if you look, we're getting this flat, but notice we got a big ball essentially right here, and we're gonna have to attack that either from the side or from some direction. Now I generally do this in like a matter of 20 seconds, it doesn't, or 30 seconds. But for sake of clarity, I'm gonna remove a little flake off here first. Get a slightly bigger bopper and just kind of pull a flake in. All right, now we need to lower this either on this side or I'm choosing this side. We strike down. When we strike down, that raises this up. I'm gonna go all the way. Now, generally I wouldn't, but I'm gonna go, and I may even do it on the other side too. Go here. All right, so the bottom side was flat. The ball was on this side, and so we hit down, and when you strike down, you remove flakes off of here. All right, and I might can even show, I don't know, this is an awful angle for me to be striking this, but. Anyways, little flake right there. You're raising the platform up, but if you turn it, you're lowering it so that you can actually reduce off of this thickness. Because up here, it'd be going in a blunt area, but now we've lowered it enough where we can easily take off pretty much everything we need to. I'm just gonna kind of sharpen everything up just a tad. Go with a little bigger bopper here. All right. You see what happened there? We're shooting a flake off of that ball, and in so doing, we're thinning it down. Now, usually that leaves you with 2 platforms and 2 ridges. So you take a flake, and now you got a ridge here and a ridge here. A platform here, and generally a platform beside it. I just call those secondary platforms. And generally those secondary platforms are very weak. So you want to strengthen those platforms up if you take another strike. Like that. And see, even that strike, you're left with 2 ridges, 1, 2, and 2 platforms, secondary platforms, which generally are very weak. Now this one we already set up, so we can kind of run down that platform. But again, it left this one that, again, secondary platforms are pretty weak. So we abraded both of them. I'm going to strike here first. And that also isolates this middle big one a little bit better by reducing some mass here first. All right, so you see the flake that it took off here. That isolates this platform a little easier. To draw a flake off of it. You can see how well that did. And it left 2 ridges, okay? And 2 platforms. Now, if it was flat enough, you know, which is kind of getting there, we could just leave those alone. But it's not quite flat enough on this big area here. And secondary platforms generally need some abrading. So you shoot in and you thin it down. Now we take a broader scale, look at our piece. This side's flat, it's always been flat, but now this big bulb is gone. And the reason is because we shot these flakes into it to thin it down. So the next large area I see is kind of over here. So I'm gonna take my little flaker here, work my way over to it. By the way, I'm also considering the length. So my length is gonna be, the longest point that I can get is probably from here to here. Longest width from here to here. So I'm gonna try to work in that space. I can go ahead and try to knock a shape out at the very least to kind of get our imagination stirring as to what we want to make. And so now we've got a base, a tip, and a whole bunch of stuff along the edges that we can use to really thin this thing down. I'm going to take a strike off the base here. It's kind of one of those weird ones, but I'm going to take it either way. That's just one where you kind of kind of aware of certain stuff on the stone. But nonetheless, we got a base, we got a good area we can strike from here. Now, one thing also to notice as you look here, the thickest part on this face is going to be this side, so we want to shoot off this side first. Generally, you want to shoot off the thickest side first. And this side has cortex, and so again, we're shooting down so that we can raise the edge so that we can then shoot across. And I'll show you again. I'll do it from this angle. Again, this is terrible for me, but I don't even know what I'm doing. I can't even see the thing, but you see, the more that I strike, the more I raise this edge. And I'm shooting flakes everywhere. But you see how this edge goes that way, and now it's low enough, this direction, low enough, where we can draw a large scale flake going across. Now again, to do that, we're going to take our brader and make sure the edge is very strong. If it's a weak edge, it'll just crush. And what I mean by that is, you know, take this flake for instance. If I just shoot into it, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to crush because it has nowhere to go and no strength to the edge. But here we have plenty of strength to the edge. I'm going to take a little bigger bopper here. Now notice also there's a flat area here. We can't really shoot into a flat area because it has nowhere to go. But this area is more humped. It's got more of a, see, this is flat down here. This has more bulk. This has a place to draw into. And so I'm going to work my way up to that. And then I'm going to braid once more. And now instead of shooting just down, I'm going to shoot in. And so this isn't a great platform, but maybe it'll demonstrate what we're looking for here. Yeah, I shot a little too far in. Let me go up just a hair, and this should be a little easier for us. Yeah, a little better platform. I'll show you what we're doing. We abraded the edge fairly heavily. We got a low area beside it, which helps. It's got a place to go, a ridge to follow. Not just because it goes from cortex to nothing, but because there's some meat in through here. And then you take a flake, and that did so well. Now, again, this is for demonstration purposes, but you can see the flake did so well that it what we call an overshoot flake, or it overshot. And so it did so good that it rounded out the other side and left this kind of swoosh. Generally, this right here is very sharp. And if I'm ever trying to make a tool, I like to do overshot flakes because that is some of the sharpest edge you can get on a point, just about. All right, so you got to be careful. Now, what does that do? You see a big ridge here that we can follow now. We can attack it from this direction or from this direction. Or if we strike here and get rid of this, we can shoot it from this direction and isolate that platform. And I actually kind of like that better. All right, so we kind of abrade here to isolate this platform. Now this thickness here we want to get rid of. All right, so now we just got a cool little platform here, right there, to shoot across. And throw those to the side for a minute. Braid our platform right there. And it may overshoot, it may stop. I kind of hope it stops. Marshall, over here, bud. Over here, come on. He's eating the... All right, that's perfectly fine. So that's one that stops in the middle. All right. So we can try to run the ridge from back here. It's not really the best way to attack it, I don't think, but we can demonstrate it at least, maybe. May stop halfway. And so we come from an angle to try to catch that hinge right there. And so I'm not going to be striking, you know, this way. Not going to be striking this way, but kind of at a diagonal. And the way that I hold it, I generally hold it like this. I'm going to be striking back towards me almost. All right. So you can see it not only followed that platform, but also the other one. Caught our hinge and actually went under the hinge and kept going. And we got a little flake off. That sets up another ridge. Now it's kind of flat in there, but it's got to be taken either way. So we'll just do a little flake into it. Nothing crazy. Whoopsies. Just something like that. Follow that little ridge and get it off. Now again, remember we overshot over here? Well, we still got some thickness here we got to take care of. We're going to work our way to it, meaning work our way to it. This is kind of jutted out. And, oh, somebody sent 100 things. I don't know what that is, but thank you. I'm not good with technology. And so we isolated another area, and that just kind of flips off pretty easily. All right, work up to our next area. And able to take that off pretty easily. Without much work. $100, I don't think it was $100. If it was, it would show me, I think. And now we've worked just about all the way up to the tip of the point. And now we can flip it over and do something similar on this side. Now, the one thing I want to show this is kind of like a valley in through here. And so it doesn't have like a way to roll over like the thickness on some of these ones. So we just want to kind of bite the edge, just kind of chip into it a little bit, because it doesn't have anywhere to go. It doesn't have a place to run. Now I went running this morning in a very literal sense, but I did have a place to run, and so I ran downtown. But if I didn't have a place to run, I wouldn't run. Very simple illustration. Okay, I like this ridge here. I like that one. I like thinning it out. There's a little bit of thickness there. Now the key is, how are we going to get to it? This one looks to be the most appealing to me. So we're going to isolate it because that ridge runs fairly easily. So we're going to chop this off here. All right, so thinning this area out until we get a good ridge to follow. Something about like that. And we can braid our platform. This might not work, but we'll see. Yeah, it worked. Sometimes you gotta give it a little tap there. All right. Yeah, and honestly, we could keep going down the line before we flip sides here. This is the same one that we were napping on earlier. And instead of setting things up, I'm just gonna blast them. So just go down the line and just wallop flakes off like that. I'm gonna chop a little bit of these secondary platforms off. But then when I get to another good platform, go ahead and strike it. And again, don't really need my pad at this stage. Cut that a little thin. But now that we've flaked off of that side, we can now do the other side, hopefully. And so we can abrade this direction. All right, to shoot off of this flake. $1,000, no, what in the world? Sorry, not always able to catch the comments. Let me switch down the bopper. Actually, a couple sizes in boppers. When I get a little thinner, I like to downsize a little bit. Helps for support, mostly. All right, so now we've got a cool little platform here that we can run and just shoot across. We gotta set it up though. And honestly would do better with a bigger bopper. Slightly bigger at least. Yeah. And that shot all the way across. Now we keep going down and go back to my other one. Find a good platform. I really don't have to look far. Now what I told you with secondary platforms earlier is that they're very weak. So you want to strengthen them up a little bit so that when you strike them, it'll run a good flake. Something about like that. Something like that. Okay. See a halfway decent flake that we could run right here beside it. And we're starting to see what we just generally call sequential flaking. Got 1, 2, and ooh, you got a third one there. And of course, it ran right beside the other 3. That's kind of how we planned it. And we can run a little extra one beside it there. Doesn't hurt at all. Doesn't hurt a fly. Now I think we will finally address this overshot area. We're gonna first abrade it, and then we're gonna flake into it. All right, so we got a lowered edge here. It's got some room to run. And it ran all the way to there. And so we keep going down the line. And we want to keep abrading if we're able to. That one didn't do as good. But no need to fear, we'll catch it eventually. All right, these ones just need to flake a little bit for reasons we already said. Doesn't really have a way to go, anywhere to go. Now this one does. Almost dropped my bopper, hold on. There we go. This one does have a place to go. And we're able to pretty much get all that thickness over yonder as well. Worked out good. Braid our next platform. I'll strike in here. Of course, had a ridge to follow. See the ridge down the middle of it? Of course, initially, we had a ridge here and a ridge here because we took that flake off where my finger is. So that left the ridge here and this ridge that we just ran. Now it leaves 1, 2. This one's going to be thicker because we've been thinning down this way. So this one's a bit thicker. By the way, my dog Marshall says hello. He's in the background. Now I'm going to address a little bit of the base. Just thin it down a little bit. I always like having the base thinner earlier on, if I'm able to, because everything extends from it. So, if the base isn't thin and everything else is, you'll have a tough time with supporting the piece a little later on. So you want to get that thin early as you can. Like fishing, you wake up early as you can to catch the morning bite if you go in the morning. But maybe you go in the afternoon. Who knows? Depends on what you're catching, I guess. I'm a big bass fisherman myself. Right. Got a couple things here I need to address. This is one of them. And we caught that too. Yep. A little bit here. Now we bevel this whole side so that we can flake off of it as well. So this platform is lowered. See the shadow area is what we're about to flake off. Mike Tufts is here. What's up? Apparently Jared's here too. Man, I'm missing a few of you guys. But what's up? Found a piece of Georgetown. We're trying to flake into it a little bit. I always said if I got a piece of Georgetown, I'd get it thin. I think we're holding up our bargain there. The base is already fairly good here. Haven't switched to indirect percussion once. Not yet. Fingers crossed we won't have to. There we go. Boy, what took me a while is I wanted to catch this little hinge, and we got right there on it to thin that out there. Perfect. Who's leaving? Oh, or did you? Are you making somebody leave, Patriot? What's up, everybody in the chat? Welcome, welcome. All right, got a little platform here we can run. It's kind of diagonal. If I can say that right. There we go. We kind of missed the whole platform. There we go. We caught it now. That's the one we were trying to hit, but it worked out. It worked out good. Yeah. All right, so now it's low enough. And again, this is where it rolled off earlier where we overshot. So usually on an overshot flake, you just want to, on your first pass, just kind of shoot a little bit in there. You know, you don't want to power anything through unless you have something to bite on. Here we might. Actually, well, now we do. We got itty bitty little platform right there to shoot into this big one that was an overshoot earlier on. And just like that, able to get into it, very clean all the way across, and that's what you're looking for. Clean, broad, in my case, percussion strikes. Clean up the edge a little bit. That didn't do great, but clean it up a little bit. Alright, same thing over here. But before we get there, do a little bit more up through here. Remember, our base is already thin enough, but we can always do work beside the base in making it clean. Just like that. Thinning it down and making it look nice. Now, one thing that I'm noticing is that we've got a lot of strikes we need to take through here, but also some that we can continue to take off of this face. And I'm looking at a couple here that I think could go well for us if we set them up right. Of course, the setup is just about everything. So this is one of them. We got a platform here, right there. We got kind of a ridge to follow there. And you see that it did just that. Follow the ridge. Now it's cleaned. And the next one, the next real opportunity we have is going to be up here. We'll just kind of bite everything else off until we get up to the next platform. And really there's two ways we can strike it, but I think the top one's the best. Again, trying to go a little slower for you guys, because sometimes I rush through and don't explain it very well. So we got a platform here. Hoping to run this ridge there. And actually, it was almost two platforms there, so now it's one. You know, you have two platforms, some of the force can be distributed, and you don't want that. So that got up there too. It didn't quite go as far as we wanted to, but we can catch that in a number of different ways. I'm not too worried about it. In fact, one of the ways is right here. And this will be a diagonal strike, or what I just call a pullback strike. Because I'm pulling back. Let's wait it one more time. And pull back. And really, the reason that didn't go is the reason I just explained for the other isolate the other side. But no worries, I mean, that'll come out in 40 different ways. You could pick it out, you could push it out. I mean, that just kind of picked a lot of it out there. But anyways, piece of Georgetown's coming out good. Still got to shoot some flakes off of there. Still got some over here we want to address. And we'll just keep working our way down. Now this will be interesting because, by the way, that caught everything, in case you were wondering. It was kind of one of those dense pockets in that last flake, but it ended up working out fine. Did just fine. Did just fine. Flake into here a little bit. Just a hair. And now we can just about turn the corner and flake into the other side. So again, we just kind of braid the edge. And then try to set up some more platforms. So a little bit there. One there. Did good. I'm gonna need to isolate one here. And isolate just means exactly what you think it means. It means to isolate one little, we call it a nipple, to run a flake off of. And it's just a little jut out right there. And when you strike into the stone, it reduces some of the mass and it peels right off. Looking for the next good platform. Looks like right here will be fine. And again, another one of those where we have multiple ways to attack it. I liked that one, and it did fine. And this one also doesn't really need to be ran. It can cause more problems than anything, but it did fine. Now we can switch over to the other side after I make one more hit right there. Reducing some more material, we do the same thing on this face. So we lower the whole side. We braid the edge upward or downward, depending on how you're looking at it. And I go across it, do a little diagonal braiding. And that gets some of the little tidbits that we don't want. This side's looking good. This side just needs a little bit of work done on it. Just a hair. And I think if I'm able to find my littlest bopper, I'll use it, but I might not be able to find it. I'll show you soon there, buddy. So I think we'll just stick with our own size because I have no idea where that other one is. I bet you it's under 1,000 different. Oh, I think I found it actually. Hold up here. Here we go. Let's get you back up and running here. You see my setup is pretty crazy. It's just a little 2x4. All right, let me get my other bopper. I think I found it here. Whoopsies. There we go. Itty bitty. See the size difference? Itty bitty. So we come up here and we just take some flakes off. You see itty bitty little flakes coming off. Now this little bopper can drive a big flake, by the way. And that kind of did a little much there. But that's fine. All right, just a little flake, nothing crazy. Another flake there. Good flake right there that went halfway and met some of the other ones. Alright, a little bit here. A little here. This one needs addressing just a hair to make sure it's a good platform. And I'm gonna switch up to the bopper we're just at here to take this one off. See that one there, it's lowered. Got a little platform to run. It's not the best, it could be pretty bad here, but I kind of missed it. But it ran off just fine. That leaves us with another little platform here, which is, I guess, a good thing. Now, those secondary platforms, again, can be very weak, so you want to address those. There we go. Now, you notice a lot of times I'll pull back. A lot of times I'll push in, and this time I was pushing away from me, and that draws a flake that kind of goes away from me just a little bit. And the diagonal flakes aren't ideal generally because you're not generally wanting a diagonally flaked point, but they can come in handy when you need them. Certainly for strikes that are just difficult to get to. You don't really have good meat on the stone. I'm just gonna make this on one platform. I hope it runs. If it doesn't, what's the new modern lingo? If it doesn't run, I'm cooked. That's what that means, apparently. Oof. It stopped short. No. No. Well, there's three ways to get to the remaining area there. Number one is to come back just a little bit. And isolate a platform right here. So this is one way. Is to just set up a little platform right in through here. And this isn't a great one, but we'll see if it works. I have more faith in some of these other opportunity strikes. We'll try this one. I'll show it to you. So we shot this flake and it kind of just went just a little ways. That thickness there, that little hinge there, is what we're going to try to run this one into. And honestly, it's going to be a little bit longer, thinner flake, so I'll go with this one. It's still gouged out. Well, that means a couple different things can happen. Number one, we try shooting it off from the base. So that is one option. And what did I tell you earlier about waiting to the end to try to thin down your base? It's not generally a good principle to follow. But we'll see if we can catch a little bit of it here. Again, prepare a little nipple there. And shoot it, and in all honesty, we didn't catch it, but we can pick that off pretty easily. Really not a problem. Whoa, 700 folks in here. Sorry if I hadn't got to your comment or anything like that. Really, I plan on ending the stream fairly soon. I've got a Bama game to catch. What is the rock? It is Georgetown. Georgetown. It's actually kind of translucent too. I think what I'm gonna do, sorry, I had to get some Mountain Dew. I think what I'm gonna do is for the next 8 minutes, I'm just gonna beat on a rock. I have no idea what rock, but oh, I bet you want to see this one. This is one I was working the other day. My buddy Scott sent it to me. And it's just really neat. It's really, really neat. Now, let me get the right bopper. The size above that one. Oh, it's right here. Y'all should have told me. Why didn't you tell me? So this is a rock called Flint Ridge chert. Is it chert? I think so. And it comes in a lot of different colors and variations and such. But it flakes amazing. As I just stuck a flake. I mean, just carries a beautiful, beautiful flake. Steiner, did you hear some? Are you just commenting that? I don't know, I hadn't been paying attention, honestly. But some Flint Ridge. This is probably the only piece of Flint Ridge I have. And honestly, it's just cool to look at from time to time. I made a few points and they sell like immediately. By the way, I'm fairly certain, if my math is correct, can somebody go and see how many subscribers we have on our channel? So I'm pretty sure this stream broke 10,000. Just throwing that out there. Can somebody comment how many subscribers we have? Because I'm very curious. Because a week and a half ago, I was at 5,000. 11K? Is it 11K or is it under 11K? Is it like 10 something? No, it's not 11K, is it? Is it really? I had 9,900 this morning or something like that. It's got to be like 10 something, right? Like 10. Like it's 11 on the dot? Are you serious? It was literally like 9,900 this morning. Like I just started doing this channel, guys. At least the lives. Is this opal? You have an opal? No. This is Flint Ridge material from Flint Ridge. Now Smooth says 10.67. I'm inclined to believe the 10.67. I don't know. That just the math seems better there, but I don't know if y'all are saying 11 11 point, I don't know. I have no idea. It's 11.1. Good grannies. What are y'all doing? That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, huge thanks to you guys for all the support y'all have given me. And who would have thought on Saturday a lot of people would be tuning into the stream? I appreciate it. I would think it'd be football on your TV screens today. You put in a good show. Oh, thank you. Yep. 11 point. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Now, when does YouTube give you a plaque? Isn't it at like 100,000? Something like that? I think they give you a plaque at 100,000. By the way, for those who are curious, I've been doing YouTube for probably 8 years. So to finally get to 10K is just insane to me. It's absolutely insane. And we're about gonna have to conclude our stream. What else can I show you? I have no idea. John, are you in here? That's some expensive rod. Yeah, it sure is. Sure, that's why I put it down, brother. How did you know? How did you know? Stay there, Marshall. I don't know what else I can hit into. This is a piece from that other coral we were working. Maybe this one? Flint Ridge from Ohio. Yeah. But 11.1, that's wild to me. I'm gonna have to make a little post or something. Thanking everybody for it. Make a big old post. That is awesome. By the way, for those who are in here and just curious why we've been napping bifaces instead of finishing up a point, it's because, well, and obviously I have 2 gloves on, which is very rare for me. But I was cooking yesterday and I burned my right finger. And just for sake of safety, I guess, I figured I'd throw a little glove on. I don't know how bad of a burn it is, but it is noticeable. I'll put it that way. But not impeding my napping at the moment. But if I was pressure flaking, absolutely. Absolutely, 1000% I would. So now you know. Now you have become aware. Anyways, I'm just fooling around. All right, I got a minute and a half left. 700 folks in here. My goodness. Guys, I'm sorry. We're going to have to cut it short. Bama's playing here in a little bit. So, well, I'll tell you what. They play at 7:30. So how about I flint nap up until then? Is that fair? I think that's fair. I think that'll work okay. Question is, what do I nap? There's 1,000 things I can nap. Oh, Mr. John Harris is stuff down here. Oh, this is also a flake from that same rock. It kind of had some interesting color to it. You sell these? I do from time to time. Another Clovis? Yeah, I could. You can do another live stream tonight. Won't do good. Oh, I guess so. Tommy, honestly, I definitely could. I hate the dogs. 4 p.m. Oh, okay. What? This is a coral. Did you ever finish that big one? Oh, I did. I sure did, Troy. You'll have to go back in a couple live streams, but I absolutely did. Is that some sort of jasper? This is Florida coral. Wesley says, wow, yeah. It's, now we already made a point out of the big rock. This one has a lot of little, I mean, you can see some of the seams. This is probably unusable, but I kept it just to kind of remind myself of the prettiness of the rock. And by the way, Mr. John in the comments is the one who sent it to me. So Huge shout out to Mr. John. Humongous shout out to Mr. John. Marshall, what you say, bud? Got my buddy Marshall with me. Yeah, I got a glove on, I know. A little different, huh? Yeah, it used to be a hand, but now it's a glove. What you say, huh? What you yawning at me for, son? Yeah, Marshall. All right, so this is a pretty cool stream. So we passed 10,000 and we passed 11,000. That is awesome. That is awesome. Let's see, that's about ready to go. This is also a piece from that same piece of coral. I think I'm gonna need to heat it up because it has some of the little cruddy areas in there. This was a piece of the peanut butter chert that really, there's just not much in there to do anything with. So I may just leave that as it is. Again, I got a few more pieces of that same little bit of coral that we can eventually nap. Let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have? We have an older piece of Ryan Chatterson coral. That should look familiar to some folks. And then got an old piece of Alabama coastal. It's kind of a rougher piece, but it heated up good. See the fossil in there? I just love Alabama coastal. But it does take a lot of know-how. So, oh my goodness. This is awesome. Come on. There we go. I've got to do something about my setup here. So this is my setup. I have a fan here, and I have my phone charger, which apparently my phone is not charging now. I got one for this light, and this light, I always tell you how bad it is. Like, I could pull the string down and it'd be fine, but like this keeps unscrewing, and like you can't screw it back in. It's just, the only thing that's holding it is this table. It's just awful. It was the cheap Walmart one. I got this board to hold my phone, like that. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. All right, we're good now. I got Marshall here beside me. Got my Mountain Dew. And all these bifaces, little flakes. The translucent ones are over here. These are the ones we were talking about in the other video. The translucent coral. And I have that piece around here somewhere. Piece of Tallahassee. Gotta love the Tallahassee. So I'll work on that eventually too. Look at him. Look, he thinks we're going in, that turkey. It really is about time to go in. I'll tell you what, let's just do that. Marshall, come here, buddy. We're gonna go ahead and end the stream. I'm gonna get ready for the game. And oh, I've been behind on comments here. Do the game later. Oh man, thank you. Need to call OSHA. Oh goodness. JB Weld will definitely work. Any petrified palm? Yeah, I do actually. Have y'all seen my petrified palm wood points? All right, let me get this out of the way here. Shake off my flip-flops. Yeah, I'll show you. I got it over here. Yeah. Bear with me. Clean up your mess. I will. Thank you for mentioning that. We aren't going in yet, but I'll let you in. You can go in. All right, so the petrified palm I have is in here. This is probably the biggest piece I have left. And it came from that video that if you search up petrified palm wood on my channel, you'll see me making some points out of this. He says, I don't see a message. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Mike. I don't see nothing. But these need to be heated up. Now that one is heated. All right. Now I'm not going to show you my house, because I feel like my house looks fine. Just the garage is dirty. But I will take you over to my office, and I want to show you these points here, because these are two of my favorite points I've ever made out of the petrified wood. So, quick glance at the office. And the light isn't really on them very good, but big old Lost Lake and a big old Noonan. And they're two of my favorite points I've ever made. Yeah. Also, while I'm in here, and I'm generally not in here, I'll bring you over here, show you. I really need a better light. These are some of the Noonans. That's the big blade that I made. The big Jasper Clovis, a big Flint River Pickwick. This is kind of a keeper coral case. I know it's very dark and dingy in here, but Marion, Hardy, Lost Lake, Hillsborough, Hernando, Enoch, Simpson I made just the other day, another Simpson, and a Clovis. That's the best Clovis I've ever made, by the way. And don't mind Marshall, he's just chomping. Also, if any of you know DC Waldorf, I was given some of his stuff. So I have this case of some of the points that he made, just to have some authentic stuff from like Tennessee. Various stuff. Those two are casts, so they're not real, but the rest are authentic. And I got some other stuff. Old discoidal. Some pipes and stuff. This is a piece of Alabama coastal that had like a little star on it. Anyways, yeah, Marshall's chomping over there, that rascal. Man, I could show a blank screen and there's still 500 folks in here. That's insane. All right, I'm gonna go back over here and we're gonna end the stream after I get back to the garage. By the way, while we're here, Jasper, boxes of coral, some Tallahatta, more stuff there, in the boat. So that's where we're gonna end it. Marshall, you coming in, Bo? Come on. Anyways, he usually just hops way back yonder. But this is my station here too. Best of the best book. I just got flakes everywhere. And anyways, we're going to call it. So thank you guys for watching. We've got a game to get to. And no point today. But maybe we'll have a point in the next coming videos. But really appreciate it. We made it to 10K. We made it to 11K. So humongous thank you to y'all. Night, Mike. Night, Adrian. Tommy's expecting another one. I don't know. I do have some work to do tonight. So I'm assuming this will be the last one. But I do appreciate the encouragement. Great question. Does heating the stone? It can. Bama coastal, my moment. We'll get you some coastal. All right, guys. Y'all take care. Thanks again. And we'll catch you on the next one.